Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, I'm presenting you guys our next episode of Winter Thoughts. I'm going to be bringing some new model updates to this video, so there's a lot of new exciting information in this video. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Now, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, what is your favorite breakfast food and why? I'll be picking one of those comments for tomorrow's video. Now let's get into this video, and we're taking a look, first things first, at our Jamstec models sea surface temperature. And this is actually for the fall season, because it's actually going to be able to show us how things are going to change. So first things first, we're taking a look at September, October, November here, all three of those months combined. And as you can see, we're going to have a pretty strong La Nina there in the blue. Also, in the red there, we're going to have a pretty strong positive PDO developing. And now as we move towards December, January, February, which is our winter season, you can see that La Nina actually weakens a little bit. We're still going to have it, but it's going to be weakened a little bit. And also, we're going to have that PDO becoming closer to the Pacific coast there of the United States and Canada. And that's actually a good thing for winter and snow lovers there in the central and eastern United States. I'll talk all about that in a little bit. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to move on and take a look at the surface air temperature. We're going to take a look at the June run and then also our new and updated July run, kind of compare how things are moving here on the Jamstec forecast. Alright, now here we are taking a look at that June outlook here. And as you can see, it was kind of looking more warm for the entire United States there and more cold the further north you go. And that's a lot like what we dealt with last winter, so you would not want to see something like this. However, this did look a lot colder than last winter looked. Obviously, we would be in the much brighter reds there for the eastern and central United States. Let's go ahead and take a look at the updated forecast here for July. And things look a little bit colder there for the eastern half of the United States. We're right in between that 0 and 0.3 degree temperature, which is going to be right around normal. And that's going to be a lot better than the previous two winters we've had, even if we were right around normal temperatures. Though I think there will be a few months where we do have colder than normal conditions for sure. I'll talk about that later on in this video as well. Now let's take a look at June's precipitation forecast. And as you can see, they were calling for dry for the southern and eastern United States with more wet conditions there for the Pacific Northwest, the north central United States, and then also the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes. Let's take a look at the July model run here, and you can see those dry conditions move a little bit further north, and actually we see kind of neutral precipitation conditions there for the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest. Do I think this will be the look once we get to winter? No, not at all. I actually like the June outlook there a lot more. I think that this does not look like a La Nina pattern at all. So I think we will definitely see an active storm track that moves through the Pacific Northwest, Rockies, upper Midwest, and then the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on and we're going to begin to take a look at our CFS model. We're just going to take it month by month. We're actually going to look at September all the way through March on the temperature outlook, and then we're going to take a look at some of the precipitation forecasts as well. Alright, now here's first off taking a look at September. And things look a little bit warmer than normal, a little closer to normal as you move towards the northeastern and mid-Atlantic states there, as well as the Pacific Northwest. Especially warmer than normal there for the Great Plains, the Great Lakes, and the southwestern United States. And really, you don't want September to be cold if you want a colder than normal winter. You want that Arctic oscillation to be building, that polar vortex to be building stronger and stronger and stronger, and not unleashing all of that cold air early on. That would lead towards a less intense winter. Now, let's take a look at October, and this is when things already start to take shape here. We can see that they are calling for warmer than normal conditions for the western half of the United States and colder than normal conditions or neutral conditions for the eastern half of the United States, but closer to colder than normal here. Let's take a look at November, and that warmer than normal conditions start to take over for more of the United States, but still the eastern seaboard is a lot closer to normal than the inland, central, and western regions of the United States. And then once we move towards December, we start to see the winter pattern really build in. That colder than normal conditions really build into Canada there, as well as the upper Midwest, the northwestern United States. And then we see the mid-Atlantic, the northeast, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley. All of these regions are pretty close to normal, if not below normal, with the exception of maybe New England there, looking at some yellows. But really, obviously this is going to change a lot, so I'm not really buying that entirely. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to move towards January that's looking extremely cold. We're going to move towards February and then March, and then we're going to take a look at the entire winter as a whole, and then we're going to take a look at some of the precipitation forecasts like I said before. All right, now here we are taking a look at January, and this actually looks like the best month on this model run so far for cold and snow lovers. This looks like a classic eastern winter where it's colder than normal conditions in the east, warmer than normal conditions in the west. And let me tell you, this is night and day compared to last winter. So if this was to occur, that would be very good for cold and snow lovers. Like I said before, probably would see some snow there for some of the mid-Atlantic states, the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, and obviously New England would get some, just like always. And really, I want to point something else out. This CFS model is known for having a huge warm bias. It usually shows warmer than normal conditions for each month, no matter what, for all regions. So the fact that this is showing any cold anywhere is very significant, especially in the eastern United States. It likes to favor the western United States a lot. This model just necessarily isn't good because of those biases, and usually whatever it shows, I kind of like to think that it will be a little bit colder than what it is showing. So the fact that it's showing colder than normal conditions tells me we might have well below average conditions here for January. Let's move towards February, and actually it completely flips. We would see a winter thaw here during February. This happens every winter. We are going to see at least probably one warmer than normal conditions month here. And this time around, it wants to show February. It also has some colder or more near normal conditions there for the western United States, which is pretty interesting, but really warmer than normal conditions for the central United States especially, but also the eastern United States here on this February outlook there. Let's take a look at March, and it shows the colder than normal conditions trying to re-enter the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, the northeastern United States, but overall more warmer than normal conditions the further south you go. And now let's take a look at the winter as a whole. And really the biggest thing here is the resemblance this draws to the Jamstec model's outlook is actually incredible. So this is going to be for the winter as a whole. Again, mostly warmer than normal conditions there for the western United States, and then near normal or below normal temperatures here for the eastern United States. Let's compare this to the Jamstec model. And as you can see, almost the same. So to see this kind of agreement here this early on is a really good sign. And I've actually mentioned in earlier videos, these models have been in agreement pretty much for months now on different things. And seeing that is really increasing my confidence that these long-range models have a really good handle on what's going to be happening here in the near future. All right, now what we're going to do is we're just going to move on, take a look at that precipitation outlook. We're going to look at a third model here, the CANCIPS model, just take a look at what it has to say for the winter, and then we're going to get into our comment of the day. All right, now here we are taking a look at that precipitation forecast here, and really what this tells me is it is not very confident in a lot in the precipitation forecast so far. However, there are two key factors, or maybe three actually, that are really going to, make me feel pretty confident that this model does have a good idea of a few things. First off, the more wet conditions there for the Pacific Northwest, that's pretty definitive here, and definitely in a La Nina that would be likely. Also, we see more dry than normal conditions there for California, I almost say Canada, California in through the Four Corner states there, and then also for the southeastern United States. And you might be wondering why more dry conditions there for the southeastern United States. Well, in an El Nino pattern, which is the opposite of a La Nina pattern, and really you could say they happen 50% of the time, both of them, or if you're not, taking a neutral ENSO into consideration, but really 50-50 most of the time. So in El Nino, that's where we see a lot of the precipitation for the southeast. Then in a La Nina, that's where we don't see a lot of precipitation there for the southeast, and it comes out around average since both happen 50% of the time. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, now last but not least, I wanted to show something very briefly. Here's the CANCIPS model. Hopefully this just helps you guys take it with a grain of salt because, look, this model is showing the exact opposite of what those other models are showing. Now, the CANCIPS model is lesser known than the other two, so I'm less confident in this model. However, this is going to kind of make me pull things back a little bit with how confident I am in those models, considering there is a model here showing the exact opposite, colder than normal conditions out west, and then warmer than normal conditions in the southeast, the northeast, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and the south central United States. I think this is important to show here. And this would really be what you don't want to see in a winter pattern, because this looks like a classic southeast ridge, which can ruin winters entirely like we've seen in the past 2 years. If this was to occur, this would be 3 years in a row with crappy winters for the eastern United States, and I know that would just drive some of you crazy, so I really hope this does not happen. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, what have you been doing since you haven't been able to do, obviously, a lot of the same stuff you would normally do? How have you been staying active and having fun? Jonathan Hayden said, we have been swimming, cleaning, crafting, and gardening. And I especially like that last one. I've been gardening this year as well, growing a lot of tomatoes, and it's been a ton of fun. But yeah, you got 17 likes on your comment there. Seems like a lot of people agreed with you, and that's why I picked you for today's comment of the day. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.